Alright, welcome to your Asynchronous Session 5 for Business Math B. We're going to talk about Lesson 24, Linear Depreciation. So the objective is that students will be able to apply straight line depreciation to find book value of an item. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to go through some definitions. So accumulated depreciation is cumulative depreciation of an asset up to a single point in its life. Book value is the value of a security or asset as entered in a company's books. Depreciation is the decrease in the value of a currency relative to other currencies. Estimated life is the estimated amount of time that a product will last. Salvage value is the estimated resale value of an asset at the end of its useful life. And straight line method is the method of computing depreciation and amortization by dividing the difference between an asset's cost and its expected salvage value by the number of years it is expected to be used. So now we're going to go ahead and we're going to get into doing some examples and some practice problems. So depreciation formula is the annual depreciation equals the original cost minus salvage value, all divided by the estimated life. So this is the formula that we are going to use anytime that we are trying to figure out how much an object depreciates over the course of 1 year. So our first example is Primavera purchased a new copier that cost $3,000. The life of the copier is estimated to be 8 years. The total salvage value after 8 years of use is estimated to be $300. Using the straight line method, find the annual depreciation of the copier. So we're going to use our formula. So we're going to plug in what we know. So we know the original cost is $3,000, the salvage value is $300, and the estimated life is 8 years. So we're going to do our subtraction first. And we get 2,700 divided by 8, do our division, and we get that the annual depreciation of the copier that Primavera bought is $337.50. So let's do another example. Sandra purchased a new car that cost $25,000. The life of the car is estimated to be 6 years. The total salvage value after 6 years of use is estimated to be $500. Using the straight line method, find the annual depreciation of the car. So we're going to use the formula again and plug in what we know. So we're going to plug in the 25,000 and the 500 and our 6 years. So do our subtraction on top, then we can do our division. So we get that the annual depreciation of the car that Sandra bought is $4,083.33. So now that we've done a couple examples, let's see if you can do a practice problem. So Irma purchased a new couch that costs $4,200. The life of the couch is estimated to be 15 years. The total salvage value after 15 years of use is estimated to be $150. Using the straight line method, find the annual depreciation of the couch. So go ahead, pause the video, and see if you can complete the problem. Alright, so now that you've had a chance to do it, let's go ahead and plug in the values that we know, do our subtraction, then our division. So we get that the annual depreciation of the couch that Irma bought is $270. So let's see if you can do another one. This time we have Steve purchased a new refrigerator that cost $1,200. The life of the refrigerator is estimated to be 12 years. The total salvage value after 12 years of use is estimated to be $75. Using the straight line method, find the annual depreciation of the refrigerator. So go ahead, pause the video, and see if you can find the depreciation of the refrigerator. Alright, so now that you've had a chance to do it on your own, let's go ahead, plug in our values that we know, do our subtraction, then the division. So we get that the annual depreciation of the refrigerator that Steve bought is $93.75. So now that we've done some annual depreciation, let's actually now start talking about book value. So book value, remember, is what an asset is worth at the end of so many years of its life. So our two formulas are the accumulated depreciation, which is the previous year's accumulated depreciation plus the current year's depreciation, and then the book value at the end of the year is the original cost minus that accumulated depreciation for what it's worth still at the end of that year. So we first need to figure out our accumulated depreciation before we can find out our book value, since we need our accumulated depreciation in our book value formula. So the way we're going to do this is we're going to set up tables. So we're going to do an example. So we're going to use the copier that we were using earlier that we found the depreciation. It depreciates $337.50 each year. So we're going to set up a table, and we're only going to do the first 5 years. Usually when you're doing this, you would find all of its life, its estimated life, so you'd do all of 8 years. So we're just going to do the first 5 years. So I have the formula there written on top. So we're going to take our previous year's accumulated depreciation plus our current year's depreciation, which our current year's depreciation is always going to be that $337.50. since that's how much it depreciates each year. And then we're going to add those two numbers together to get our accumulated depreciation. So for the first year, since it's the first year, there is no previous year accumulated depreciation because it's the first year that you've owned it, so it's $0 plus our current year depreciation. So we get at the accumulated depreciation at the end of the first year is $337.50. So now for the second year, we're going to use the previous year's depreciation plus our current year's, and we get that at the end of the second year, it's $675. So then for the third year, we're going to do the same thing again. The previous years of the $675 plus our current years gives us $1,012.50. Fourth year, we get the previous year plus the current year gives us $1,350. And then finally, for the fifth year, when we plug in our values, we get that at the end of 5 years, our accumulated depreciation is $1,687.50. So that means that if you own this, that if Primavera owns this copier for 5 years, at the end of 5 years, the value would be $1,687.50 less than what it was at the beginning. So now that we know our accumulated depreciation at the end of each year, let's go ahead and now calculate the book value. So to calculate our book value formula is original cost minus accumulated depreciation equals our book value. So our original cost is always going to stay the same, so we can go ahead and fill in for all the years. The original cost is $3,000. Then we figured out our accumulated depreciation for the copier in our last slide there. We figured out all those accumulated depreciation. So at the end of the first year, it was $337.50. So if we go ahead and subtract at the end of 1 year, the book value is $2,662.50. So now that's what the copier is worth after 1 year of use. So now if we plug in our accumulated depreciation for the second year and do our subtraction, we get $2,325. Then if we keep doing that for each year, we end up with at the end of 5 years, it is now worth $1,312.50. So if we were to do this for all 8 years, our book value should be the same as our total salvage value after its estimated life. So since our estimated life for the copier is 8 years, at the end of 8 years, if we were to do this table for 8 years, then our book value should be $300 at the end of 8 years. So let's do another example. Let's do the car. Sandra purchased the car, and we found that the depreciation each year is $4,083.33. So let's first figure out what our accumulated depreciation is at the end of each year. So remember, our current year depreciation is always going to be the same for every year. And then for the previous year, for the first year, since there was no previous year, it's 0. So when we do our addition, we just get that it's $4,083.33 at the end of the first year. So now we can do the second year, the third year. So we remember we're just using the previous year's accumulated depreciation, adding the current year, and getting our new one. So at the end of 5 years, the accumulated depreciation of the car is $20,416.65. So now that we have our accumulated depreciations, let's go ahead and do our book value. So we're going to do the book value for all 6 years. So we figured out our accumulated depreciations. So when we subtract for that first year, our original cost minus our accumulated depreciation at the end of the first year, we get that the car after 1 year of use and ownership is now worth $20,916.67. So if we do that and we plug in what we got for the accumulated depreciation for each year and do our subtraction for all 6 years, at the end of 6 years we have that the book value is $500.02. Now remember that I said at the end of the estimated life, which our estimated life of this car is 6 years, our book value should be the same as our salvage value. Well, if we look, our salvage value is $500, our book value is $500.02. So that's pretty close. It just means that somewhere there was, of course, because we're using money and stuff, that there's going to be a little bit of a rounding error. So as long as you're very, very close to that total salvage, like we're only off by 2 cents, that means we did a good job. Now, if you're off by more than that, like if you're off by $100 or even $1,000 at the end of your 6th year for your book value, then that means you went wrong somewhere, and you should go back and check your steps that you did and make sure you plugged everything into your equations properly and into your calculator properly. Alright, so now that we have done this one, you are going to end up doing this one as part of your check for understanding to get your points for doing the asynchronous session. So in your asynchronous activities announcement, go ahead, go to session 5, click on the link to go to the check for understanding, and complete the check for understanding. And the ones that ask for the practice problem from the recording, this is the practice problem that you're going to use.